Feeling a little crowded? Late to work more often? Sick of the long lines at the grocery store? Well, then you might live in a part of America that's getting too crowded. The population of the United States increased by more than 2 million people last year. Natural growth, meaning people being born versus people dying, accounted for most of the population increase in America, while only a small part of our nation's growth was due to immigration. So none of this immigration influx BS in the comments, people. We're growing, but it's not the Mexicans or the Chinese or the Zimbabweans that are the reason for most of it. Across individual states, population growth was far from even. Some states are growing fast, and some states are actually shrinking. And it's regional too. While populations in the South and West are growing, the Northeast and Midwest are not. We'll get to the reasons why later. In order to determine the fastest growing states, we simply had to measure the populations of each state from 2010 until now. As we'll see, some of these states might be surprisingly quickly growing, and some that you think are getting way too overcrowded actually aren't growing that much at all. So get ready to sit in traffic and prepare to be late for your important function as we bring you America's fastest growing states. We begin our travels to the fastest growing states in America in the state of North Carolina. I live here, I know. North Carolina's booming. Part of that's due to the very pleasurable climate. It's not too warm here outside of a couple sweltering months in the summer, and this state gets some snow, but not enough that you need to buy a snowblower. It's still relatively affordable, and for the most part, there aren't large ghetto areas in any one large pocket. And for folks in the Northeast who don't want to go all the way to Florida, North Carolina's a halfway point. The tech scene here is booming, especially in the Raleigh-Durham metro area and in Charlotte. Lots of companies are leaving California to open up technology companies here. Raleigh, the capital, has grown 20%, and Charlotte's grown 17%. Both are in the top 10 in the US. They say 188 people move to the Raleigh area every day. I'm a transplant. I'm part of the reason traffic on the 40 is getting worse and worse every damn day. Next up on our expanding expanse takes us to Idaho. Idaho? Yes, Idaho. Probably California rejects. Here in Idaho, the population has grown a very rapid 5.5% since 2010. But the people in Idaho will tell you, Idaho's closed. Now let's compare Idaho's growth rate to that of America's slowest growing state, West Virginia. Actually, West Virginia is going backwards. The mountain states lost 1% of its state population in the same time frame. To put that into perspective, the next slowest growing state's Vermont, which has lost 0.25% of its population. So West Virginia is by far the state that's losing the most people. West Virginia is the only state where more people died than were born, and is the only state where more people moved away than moved to it. West Virginia has one of the oldest populations of any state, has the highest death rate, and one of the lowest birth rates in the country. So no wonder the population's shrinking here. Back to Idaho, it's the opposite here. Idaho has a relatively high birth rate, and a third of its new residents moved to the potato state. Another interesting note, Idaho's population growth has coincided with a big decline in unemployment too. Not sure what types of jobs you'd do in Idaho, but there's plenty of them. Sorry, Idaho. Secret's out. We're going to stay on the west side of the country as we visit our 8th fastest growing state, Arizona. Probably California rejects. Arizona's population grew by 6.3%, more than twice the national population growth rate. Much of Arizona's growth was due to new residents migrating to the state. Arizona's the 4th most popular place where other Americans are moving to. For the 3rd year in a row, Maricopa County led the way of all U.S. counties for population growth. This includes cities like Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, Scottsdale, Tempe, and Glendale. But why out west? A number of factors affect migration patterns throughout the U.S. Americans move for economic and educational opportunities, as well as quality of life factors, such as a warm climate and cost of living. Arizona meets that criteria. It's relatively affordable, its mid-sized cities have decent school systems, and there's a decent number of jobs here too. Arizona is just one example of how there are simply more Americans moving from the Northeast and Midwest to the South and West. We're not leaving the West Coast for a while, so buckle your seatbelts and stop texting and driving. Our next stop is the state of Washington. More California rejects. Washington's population has increased 6.3% since the last decade. Washington's strong population growth has been accompanied by a substantial increase in GDP, which has grown at an average rate of 2.2% a year, the fourth fastest pace of any state. Washington's information sector, which includes industry giants like Microsoft, Amazon, and Expedia, grew faster than in any other state except Pennsylvania over that period. Washington's also one of 3 states on this list with a high international population growth, meaning a lot of people are moving to Washington from other countries.
Did you know Seattle has been the nation's fastest growing city in America for 5 straight years?
I did know that, Mappy. I've also heard the homeless population there is a result of that. Would you ever live on the streets and ask for money, Mappy?
No, I have too many kids to worry about. I want to provide for them. That's why I work on this channel.
Mappy, you're a true American, a real role model for all who want a free handout in this country. Thank you for setting such a good example, buddy. Speaking of role models, let's travel to our next fastest growing state in America, Nevada. Actually, Nevada's not really a role model. I just needed a transition and I got lazy. Nevada's population has grown at a very high clip of 6.8%. Also partly due to, let's say it together, California rejects. Nevada grew by 2% last year alone, so its population is surging. If we only measured very recent population growth numbers, Nevada would win. Nevada's also towards the top of the states in today's video in terms of international growth. This article says that the Nevada desert has become an oasis for both immigrants and younger progressives who want things like legal green stuff and liberal politics. It's also one of the most diverse states too, a topic we covered not too long ago. Now, there's still only 3 million people here, so there's a lot of room to expand. So you can bet Nevada is definitely open for business. We're halfway through, and we're heading to the east for the first time in a long time. This time, we go to the always talked about state of Florida, where the population has grown 7.6%. In 2014, Florida overtook New York as the 3rd most populous state in the country. Like many of the fastest growing states on this list, Florida's rapid population growth was largely due to migration. About 9 of every 10 new Floridans either moved to the state from elsewhere in the US or from another country. More people move from New York to Florida than any other state. Of course, there are many reasons why Florida is such a popular destination for Americans to move to. It's hot, too hot actually. Taxes are very favorable. There's a ton to do and the economy's great. All right, one more trip out west for a couple more stops. This time we park it in Colorado, where the population has grown 7.7% since 2010. More California rejects. A net influx of 50,216 Americans relocated to Colorado in 2016 alone, more than all but 5 other states. The population growth occurred alongside a steep decline in unemployment too. Just 3.3% of the Colorado labor force is unemployed, tied with Vermont as the 6th lowest unemployment rate of any state. This somewhat interesting summary pointed out that Denver has the 4th most cranes of any other city. It also states that people are moving here for the mountain scenery. There's actually quite a few articles written about why so many people are flocking to Colorado.
Did you know Colorado has the skinniest population of all?
I think I heard that somewhere once before, yes. Are you trying to get me to comment on your figure, or?
Maybe.
Okay, you're super hot, Mrs. Mappy. You're like the hottest map of all maps. If you moved to Colorado, I'm sure you'd be the hottest MILF of all. JK, I'm not into maps. Come on now. Okay, one more western state. I think we've covered half of them now, as we enter the confines of the always growing state of Utah. California rejects? No. Mormons. Utah's growing like a weed. It's the fastest growing state over the last 5 years, where the population has grown nearly 3 times the national average. Unlike most fast growing states, the majority of Utah's population wasn't because people moved there, it's due to natural growth. That means babies. Lots and lots of babies. Utah has the largest average family size in the country, and coincidentally, the highest Mormon population too. But is it a stereotype that Mormons have a lot of babies? No, it's true. Mormons make up nearly 2/3 of Utah's population. The Mormon population typically has about 3.4 kids at home, while the average American family has about 2.1 kids at home. Utah's also a very healthy state. So when you have the highest birth rate and the lowest death rate of any other state, you're going to grow, just organically. Hee-haw! Time to tussle in the great state of Texas. Here, the population has grown 8.6%, which is just massive. But it's a big state. They can handle it, because everything's big in Texas, right? It makes sense Texas is on here, considering that 5 of the nation's 15 fastest growing cities are all in Texas. But why? We'll tell you. Blue-collar jobs, oil, cheap rent, cheap land, low taxes, diversity, family values, good weather. There's no attitude, and most people are friendly enough. The rules are less strict here, and well, once you're a Texan, you stick around, as they say. Texas is also a major destination of our emergingly large Hispanic community, which is growing faster than any other race, although somewhat slower of late. In case you didn't know, the Hispanic population isn't growing as fast as it once was, as younger generations aren't pumping them out as often. Of course, all of this is putting a strain on Texas's infrastructure. Roads are clogged, schools are overcrowded, and, well, they're even running out of tacos. JK, that would be like chaos. But today, more and more people are putting GTT on their doors as they're heading to the Lone Star State for good. That's gone to Texas, you twerp. Drum roll, please. Where is our fastest growing state in America? California, New York, New Jersey, Iowa? No, it's North Dakota. What in tarnation? North Dakota's population has surged more than 11% since the turn of the last decade, which is far and above everybody else. When I was a kid growing up, my grandpa Lou used to tell me that I was growing so fast, he'd have to put a brick on my head. North Dakota needs a brick on their head. Most of, or part of that reason, has been the huge, and I mean huge, uptick in the number of blue-collar jobs here, particularly the oil and natural gas boom. People have come from all over to enjoy amazing pay, low cost of living, and a sense of purpose. Then, when the gig's up, they stick around and enjoy the state's freedoms like legal gambling, legal this, legal that. Because of all the drilling profits, the state picks up the tab for a lot of stuff too, so taxes are low. And college kids who graduate around these parts are actually not fleeing North Dakota like they used to. So now it's cool to live in North Dakota? Now keep in mind, there's still only 757,298 people here, which is basically the size of Seattle. And if all the oil and gas dries up, you can bet things will change. But for now, North Dakota's the bee's knees. So there you have it, our fastest growing states in America. The places in our fine country where people are moving to, or multiplying the fastest in, or both. As we always do, let's show the states that are actually growing the least amount, or in this case, actually shrinking. We mentioned West Virginia, and both Illinois and Vermont have also lost a few people too. Why are so many people leaving Illinois and Vermont? Let us know in the comments below. So if you're in one of the states we talked about and you're feeling the pinch, it's not just you, it's you and you and you and you and you and you. And if you're looking for somewhere to move and want to follow the crowd, then be a sheep and do just that. And if you're looking to move and want to make your own trail, then head to places like West Virginia, Vermont, Illinois, Wyoming, and Mississippi, because the lines are short for tickets to ride those places. The end. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.